welcome back to the Think About It channel. Today we're doing an episode of Hustle where we talk to South Jersey, Philly area entrepreneurs. Today we have Rob DiMedio. Hey, Rob.
Adam, thanks so much for having me on, buddy, and it's good to catch up with you.
Yes. So I used to work with Rob. Um, he's also a fellow teacher, but when he's not in the classroom, he's the CEO of Busy Bariatrics, which is based out of Camden County, New Jersey. Busy Bariatrics creates customized plans for bariatric patients who want to stop wasting their time on programs that don't work for their schedule, improve performance at work or the gym, or as a bariatric patient in general. But Rob knows his stuff too. He's not just a pretty face. He's got that pretty smile, but he's not just a pretty face. He has dual certifications as a fitness and nutrition coach from the National Academy of Sports Medicine and the Next Level Coaching Academy.
I almost sound important like when you put all of that together, and it's
You are
always like
important.
interesting. I kind of am, but I'm on your podcast and YouTube, so this is a good time.
Yeah. I appreciate the big people taking time for the little people.
I know, and you took the time to have me on. So, as a little person, I am just thrilled to death to get a chance to catch up and see how life's going for you as well.
Yes. So I think we met probably about 5 years ago, at work. And did you come in like partway through the year? Or were you there the whole first year?
I'm an interesting case. I came in 2019.
Hmm.
When I came in 2019, I was 365 pounds and I
Hmm.
was split between East and West.
Okay.
And then COVID happened. The whole world shut down. I became full-time at West, had bariatric surgery, lost like 150 pounds, and then came back like after the hybrid and everything else
Hmm.
went through. And everyone's like, "Oh, very nice to meet you." I'm like, "I've actually worked here before and I've never left. I'm just significantly smaller
Hmm.
than I was when you last saw me." So yeah, I'm always like on but off people's radar, if that makes sense.
I remember that because you being split time, I didn't see you a ton, but I remembered you being around the building and like having funny conversation with you. And I remember when I saw you back after COVID, when we were back in the buildings and stuff, I was like, oh, Rob lost a lot of weight. It's
Let's
and
go.
and someone had then mentioned that you had bariatric surgery. I was like, wow, he's looking really good.
Yeah,
Um,
and I felt good too, which
yeah.
was just as important.
So what led up to that decision to get the surgery?
Oh my goodness. So 365 pounds, first year. Um, I went like if you want the full story, taught in Philly Public for 10 years, was the dean of students, dealt with some serious issues as a dean of students in one of the bigger North Philly high schools, and essentially had PTSD that I refused to address because I didn't believe in mental health and thought it was like what I saw on The Sopranos. So had no idea of the importance of it. Before anyone freaks out, I've learned so much. Gone through, but essentially self-soothed with food and alcohol for essentially 5 years and went from like a relatively in shape 240 all the way up to 365, where I was consuming anywhere from 36 to 5,400 calories during the week and up to 7,000 calories during the weekend. Get to 365, essentially have to be put on a CPAP machine because my snoring gets so bad because my neck was so thick that I essentially was asphyxiating myself at night and was stopping breathing twice every 60 seconds. So like 120 times. Yes. Like an hour. Doctor pretty much said like, look, you are going to die if you don't take care of this. And I did the typical thing of like, oh, you mean like it when I'm like 50 or 60? They're like, no, you're not going to reach 40. And at that point, I was 37. So I realized I had to make a change. Went home in this, and you'll love this as a teacher. Went home as the summertime, scrambled down to my basement office. My wife is like, what are you doing? I'm like, I got to go do work. She's like, you're a teacher. You do nothing in the summer. Googled bariatric surgery, scheduled it with Penn Health System, and then like tried to sneak it by my wife. Spoiler alert, my wife works for Penn Health System and she got pinged that I had applied. So they were like, so Kate's like, you want to tell me anything? And I'm like, no. And she's like, did you apply for bariatric surgery? And I was like, no. And she's like, you jerk. Like, clearly I have the read receipt of you've gotten this. Um, and then had the surgery and changed my life around everything. So that's kind of like the elevator pitch if the elevator got stuck between floors.
I hear that. So, I mean, it's one thing to change your own life and make decisions for yourself, but what made you take it a step further and decide to make a business out of this to help other people?
So when I got out of bariatric surgery, there really was not any resources. Like my surgical center was amazing, and they had very much like, here's what an average patient eats: 1 month out, 2 month out, 3 month out. And they didn't have 4 month out. And I'm like, what do you do at 4 months? Like I gotta live for the rest of my life. So I scoured the internet. I would listen to podcasts. I would collect resources, and I eventually hosted a support group for an online bariatric community. I started to hear horror stories of people signing up to work with coaches who would program burpees, would plan macros for about 2,500 calories, which to me said they had no understanding of how much a bariatric patient can eat, as well as what our experiences are with heavy motion or high impact motion for people who used to be obese. So I essentially said, you know what? I coached football in high school. In my first job before I became a dean. I know how to lift. I've kind of piecemealed the nutrition together. Let me get my certifications and I will open it up. And it was like Field of Dreams. Like if you build it, they will come. I posted and got like 10 clients right off the bat. So I had to kind of build the plane while we're flying. And we've gotten to a point now where I take a lot of the feedback from our clients. I just ask, what can we do to make the program better? And we just add those things. So I feel like I've created an awesome opportunity for people who've had bariatric surgery to have the full supports and resources they need to thrive after the surgery.
That's so awesome.
Yeah,
That's
kind of crazy
amazing.
when I start to recap it like that.
Yes. So you're obviously very knowledgeable of the things you've been through and your clients have been through. But what were some of the struggles from a business standpoint that you had to sort of learn and overcome?
I cried every day, like literally every day. Boy, this could be like a 50-minute talk. I'll try to tighten it because I know we're both parents with kids and the whole deal. So you open a business, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be totally easy. I got my certifications together, which cost a significant amount of money. I had a business coach, which cost a significant amount of money. My wife's one deal, because at the time we were getting out of close to 6 figures worth of credit card debt, was that we are not putting anything on a credit card if you want to follow this through. So I was working parking lot duty, working football games, basketball games, anything I could. And the deal was half the money goes to our operating budget as a family, half the money goes to pay for certification of the business coach. Then my first like 5 or 6 clients, I literally charged based on whatever program I needed to purchase. So I remember saying like, I'm going to build you a customized coaching program. I will give you a 6 month membership. And it was literally for the exact amount for the coaching software for the year. So that was like my first client. The second client, I think, paid for Zoom for the year. And that's kind of how I operated, was I built it without taking on any debt, paid for like my business insurance, everything else. But it's been a learning curve that I'm grateful for, because I know every aspect of what needs to get done in the business. And I've since brought on assistant coaches, virtual assistants, and other employees, and I have a full understanding of what each job does. And I am painfully aware of how hard that is when you're coming home, dropping your kids and shuttling through their sports and their activities, and then you're coaching clients, and then at 9 o'clock at night, you're taking certifications or you're building aspects of the business, only to rinse and repeat and do it again at 5 o'clock in the morning. Because as an online health and fitness coach and a bariatric patient, you kind of need to be in shape and show that you work out.
Mhm.
So I think I spent like 18 months just working 18-hour days, going to my daughter's dance competitions on Saturdays, literally trying to find the Wi-Fi password in I was at Voorhees Middle for a dance competition, and trying to like figure out the password or get a portable Wi-Fi hotspot, and programming clients, getting their macros and nutrition together in between my daughter's dance sets. So an absolutely crazy couple of years, but worth every penny and such an awesome experience.
And I'm glad that all that time and effort is paying off for you. That's fantastic.
It is nice. I have to tell you, like, if it didn't at this point, I think I would have folded. Just because like it got expensive. Like I would get invited to shoot a pilot, and I had to go to Atlanta, and I had to pay for airfare, and my wife's like, that has to come out of the business. So I don't think I took a profit for the first 14 months and just looked at it as if I can break even, that's the win, and kind of just was like, this is a labor of love. And now it's a labor of love that kind of makes a profit.
There you go. So speaking of making a profit, what type of services does the business offer people?
So at Busy Bariatrics, we really do offer personalized one-on-one fitness and nutrition coaching. So for an example, if you come to us after bariatric surgery, we will take a log of 2 weeks of your eating, and then we will customize your nutrition plan based on the amount you're eating at this point to make sure that you are building muscle, burning fat, fueling your body correctly. And then we will build workouts based on what level you're at. So we have helped clients almost from 2 days after bariatric surgery to work on gentle movement, all the way up to people who are 4 or 5 years post-op and are dealing with regain and are helping them get their weight down and lean out everything. So we handle a lot of the fitness and nutrition. And then as we graduate clients, they stay in our alumni program because they realize they get support group. They get an accountability group of people who get it from being severely obese. And it's led by people who've had the surgery as well. So we know what it's like to have to get up early. We know that cheeseburgers are delicious and fast food is amazing. And that's not always the right choice, but sometimes the choice that our emotions drive us when we're coaching.
So you are obviously the front man, the face of this franchise, but you have been saying we a lot. So tell us a bit about the rest of your team.
It has been crazy. So as a teacher, our checks get shut off in June. So my first year, I ran a summer camp and I had a couple guest speakers come in, and it did relatively well. Like I had more clients, we had an extra community call, and it went really well. Well, last year I was like, I should probably make it bigger and see what I could do. And I pretty much booked some of the top names in the bariatric community to speak each week on different aspects of your bariatric journey. So you could get the top registered dietitians, bariatric psychologists, bariatric fitness coaches are all sharing their insight to optimize your journey, as well as some of my personal like finance coach who taught me how to eliminate 6 figures worth of my debt and all these other people so you could optimize your lifestyle. I ended up with like 45, 50 clients, which was awesome for the summertime, but I did not sleep a single day. And then I got to September and realized, like, oh crap, I kind of need a team around this. So I hired one of my longtime clients, Stacy, to be my virtual assistant. And it started with just proofreading my emails and copying. And then she's like, you're really overwhelmed. What else can we do? And she started handling all the bandwidth backend stuff so that I could focus on just being goofy on Instagram and TikTok, recording with you, doing all the fun stuff that I love to do while still coaching clients. But we also wanted to have another coach who understood it. So a friend in my community, in the community, Kylie Hansen, who had been a coach for 4 years, bariatric patient for 10 years, I kind of went like, do you know any assistant coaches who would be willing to come on and work with us? And she's like, honestly, I'd much rather be an assistant coach than run my own business. Can I come work for you? And I realized I was the sucker. I should have made her be the CEO and me just get to coach. But it has been an awesome experience kind of putting that together. And then we've brought on another coach as well so that all of our clients get the personalized attention from bariatric patients who get it and who program and give daily feedback to our clients.
Very cool. Very cool. It's nice that you were able to find some people to help share that load with.
Yeah, it's nice because most were either former clients or people who I collaborated with they heard of what I was doing were like, that's a really awesome resource. We should support this. And it's really helped develop our team that now we're at an award show in St. Louis in 2 weeks and we are flying most of the team out.
Congratulations.
Yeah, really awesome. And we're up for a couple awards as a company and me as an individual. So
That's awesome.
very cool to see us affecting the community in a positive way.
Well, I recently discovered that you are sort of branching out a little bit and are starting a podcast or recently have started a podcast.
Yes, started in true fashion. I was like, okay, I've got these assistant coaches, I've got a VA. What can I possibly do with all that spare time that I'm going to have? and I started to launch a podcast in September and did not realize how hard it was for me to get onto Apple, to set up the YouTube account, to get Riverside all together. And pretty much recorded like 15 episodes in the can and then didn't know how to publish, edit, or figure anything out. And now that we've gotten to that point, we started releasing episodes 6 weeks ago, and we've gotten through all of season one, which goes through how our fitness and nutrition level works. And season two is all of the top dietitians in the bariatric community sharing what you should know about proteins, carbs, fats, fiber, and everything else, so that it's a resource that people can go and get for free on how to live a lifestyle they need after bariatric surgery.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So
trying.
is there anything that non-bariatric patients can take away from you or Busy Bariatrics?
100%. Something that I coach my clients and I explain to everyone else, what is good for a bariatric patient is good for the general population and is good for your children. So many times, I think with diet culture and the marketing that goes around fitness and nutrition, there's this idea that you have to live out of meal prep containers, that you should be eating separate from your family, or, well, my family hasn't had bariatric surgery. How can I eat what they're eating? And a lot of what we teach is how to really just put lean proteins like pork tenderloin, shrimp, beef, everything together with some vegetables and some carbs so that they can live a rich and fulfilling lives, but that they can sit at the dinner table with their families, continue to lose weight, and still feel part of the family.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So if there are people listening to this and watching this right now that are intrigued and would like to learn more about you and Busy Bariatrics, where can they find you in the business?
www.busybariatrics.com is where you want to get everything. If people listen and want, I will give you a link for my free 6 month meal plan guide. And then you can get on our email list where we share insights on how to just cook for your kids, how to get movement in when you are a busy parent on the go, on how to heal your relationship with food. So things that I think a lot of the general population struggle with, but also is helpful for people who've had or are considering bariatric surgery.
And are you on the socials at all?
All of them, My Weight is History or Busy Bariatrics, just it's somewhere there, and we can go from there. Yeah.
Nice. And I saw you, were you recently in Disney?
I was in Disney, senior trip.
Oh yeah. So Rob's a fun follow because you don't just see him around the house, you get to see him
Every now and
at
then I go
Disney.
out and about and I do
Yeah.
stuff in St. Louis
Yeah.
or wherever I'm sent for appearances.
Yeah.
But it was so funny because part of our debt journey, we got out of 6 figures worth of credit card debt, student loans, roof, all the car payments. And we celebrated by going to Disney World and paying straight cash for it. So we surprised our kids with it in December. But I went under the muse of most of our planning was for this senior trip in March. So my 12-year-old daughter, I think around November, was like, this is ridiculous. Like you are going to Disney. We haven't been to Disney. What? Yeah, that's really messed up. And I was like, you wait, you're gonna get it. So I got to go to Disney like twice in 3 months after not being back in 20 years.
That's cool. That's so cool. Well,
Really,
Rob,
really.
I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about your personal journey and your clients' journeys and Busy Bariatrics in general. You're doing some amazing stuff, and I hope people will get something out of this conversation we're having.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Adam, and always a joy just catching up.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, bye.